Hello and welcome back to Core Finance. I'm Matt Brown. This is the third and final video today with Ronnie Chopra, an author at Wall Street Wires. And in the previous video we were looking at sterling versus the yen. We're now going to focus in on the Nikkei on a similar theme. We've seen the Nikkei appreciate quite considerably. Obviously the Japanese government is pumping cash and printing cash left, right and centre, buying asset classes, even buying securities and ETFs. Right. Will this continue and therefore will the Nikkei continue to the upside?
I think so. It's probably my favourite index out of all the major indices at the moment. It's had a strong run with the rest of the global equity markets. Yeah. But we're still at just around half of where we were in 1989, when the Nikkei peaked at just under 40,000. So from that kind of point of view, obviously that's, 28 years ago, we're still of half where we were. So you can't say that for, I don't think, many other indices in the world, probably Zimbabwe. But yes, we've had a strong run, but I see further upward movement. The Japanese economy has been improving. Corporate profits are doing far better than they have been in the last few years. We had the Tankan survey out earlier this morning, which showed that business manufacturing activity was at the highest for 10 or 12 years. And I think this bodes well for further upward movement. On top of that, I think the government wants to implement further measures to weaken their currency. And with the Nikkei a very, very major beneficiary of a weak yen, that gives a boost to the market. There are obviously risks. I mean, we have the Donald Trump effect. We have global equity markets at all-time highs. So, if the US market does come off somewhat, which I think it is due a correction, then the Nikkei obviously will suffer. Yeah.
And looking at this chart, you wouldn't think that one of your neighbours is launching ballistic missiles over your land and into your waters.
I mean, that's obviously a major concern, but I think there have been reconciliatory talks, haven't there, over the weekend?
Yes. And we'll see
although our President Trump did kind of negate that by saying, why are you wasting your time, Secretary of State? So I don't think... Well, I hope that they don't actually launch a missile into Japan, because then obviously the whole dynamics of the markets will change.
Understood. Well, fingers crossed, tin hats on maybe, but they do have an alert system, and they're very kind of versed in dealing with that.
There'll be Armageddon all over the world then.
Yeah, we'll look out for that indeed. But on a positive note, we'll end on. Ronnie, thank you very much for joining us today.